Hi friends, this is Selvajan here. Welcome to my networking channel. Hope all are doing good and safe. And today let us discuss about the BGP Origin Code, which is a well-known mandatory attribute. So what is origin? It will define the origin of the route. If you are using network to advertise any network, it will show us I in the BGP table. And if it is advertised by a redistribution, right, it will show us question mark. If it is advertised by EGP, it will show us E in the BGP table. So before to understand further, what we can do first, we can configure the neighbor relationship and we'll advertise the prefix, then we'll check the changes in the networking table, right? So now let us go to the individual router and let us configure the BGP neighbor relationship quickly. So R1 has two neighbors, one IBGP and a EBGP neighbor, right? So go to R1 router BGP1 and the neighbor is 192.168.12.2 and the remote autonomous system value is 1 IBGP neighbor, right? And EBGP neighbor is 13.2. That is 2. 13.2 and let us advertise the prefix also. Network 1.1.1.0 mask is 25.25.25.0. So then let us go to R2 and we'll configure the BGP neighbor and let us advertise the prefix. R2 has two neighbors, IBGP and a EBGP neighbor. So router BGP1 and the neighbor is 192.168.12.1 followed by remote autonomous system number value is 1, right? And similarly it has an EBGP neighbor 23.2, right? So 23.2 and the remote autonomous system name is 2 because since it is an EBGP neighbor 23.2. So let us configure it and let us also advertise the prefix. Prefix is network 2.2.0 and the mask is 25.25.25.0. And now let us go to R3 and quickly configure. So go to R3. So it has two EBGP neighbors, right? So router BGP2 and the neighbor is 13.1 and 23.1. 192.168.13.1 and the remote autonomous number value is 1. And similarly 23.1, right? 23.1. It has two EBGP neighbors. 23.1 and the remote is 1. Similarly, we'll configure the prefix. I will advertise the prefix. The prefix is 3.3. That is a loopback address. So I already defined this loopback address, which I'm going to advertising via network, right? And the mask is 25.25.25.0. So now I configure the neighbor relationship and I have advertised the prefix on the individual router. So I configure this loopback address and I'm advertising this prefix as a loopback address and all this individual routers. And now let us check the neighbor relationship and the routing table, right? So I will BGP all summary. Okay, so the neighbor is up. Similarly, here also we are seeing the neighbor is up. Show IP BGP all summary. And third, let us go to R3. Show IP all summary. So the neighbor relationship established. Let us check the BGP routing table. So we are able to see, right, the last attribute. This is I. It is showing us I in the BGP table. So what is I means? It is originated via network command. So for this R1, we are reaching this prefix, right? 3.3. It is advertised via network command, right? I use network to advertise this prefix. So whatever things I'm advertising via prefix, right, it will show up as I in the BGP table. So this is the thing. It is the origin attribute. I is the origin attribute. If it is advertised via IGP Interior Gateway Protocol, we are using network to advertise any prefix. It will show up as I in the BGP table. So if it is advertised by EGP, it will show us E in the BGP table. Since EGP is a historical protocol, so it will not show up in the BGP table. So only it will show I and question mark. So question mark, how it shows mean if it is redistributed by another routing protocol, it will show up as a question mark in the BGP table. So now let us go to R2 and check the show IP BGP. So R2 also you are seeing, right, I. So that means it is receiving via prefix. So it advertised via network command, right? So R2 it is receiving the prefix 3.3.3 via this netstop interface and I is nothing but a origin of the route. So I am using network command to advertise the prefix 3.3.3. So for R2 is receiving the 3.3.3 prefix with the netstop attribute 23.2 and the origin is I since I am using network to advertise the 3.3.3, right? Similarly go to R3. Show IP BGP. See, you are able to see the prefix, right? R2, R3 we are seeing as I. So now I will let us see the redistribution command. Go to router BGP2, and what we can do, let us redistribute this as a connected route. Redistribute connected interface, and let us see the changes now. Show IP BGP. So now you are able to see, right? So I have done redistribution this network. So I are able to see as a question mark in the BGP table. So if it is redistributed via another routing protocol or directly connected interface, it will show up in the question mark in the BGP table. So that is the purpose of origin code. So origin code is a well-known mandatory BGP attribute. It will show up in the BGP table. If it is an I, if it is advertised via network prefix, it will show as I, or if it is advertised via IGP, that is the interior gateway protocol, it will show up as I in the BGP table, and if it is advertised via redistribution, it will show up as question mark in the BGP table. So it will not show EGP as E because since it is a historical protocol. So you are able to see the origin codes, right? This is a origin code. I is for IGP, E is for EGP. Since it's a historical protocol, it will not show up in the BGP table. So question mark is nothing but an incomplete. That means if it is redistributed via another routing protocol, so it will show up as a question mark in the BGP table. So this is how the origin code works. So it's a well-known mandatory attributes. So well-known mandatory attributes are AES path and the next stop. These are the mandatory attributes. It is always there in the BGP table. So each and every time it will be there. Network and next stop and this origin code are all the BGP mandatory attributes. So this also you have to keep it in mind. Star is a valid route and greater than is a best route. It should always show up in the BGP table, right? So I hope you understood the origin code and how it works. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe me for more videos. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.